guys, and welcome to How to Solo Alysrazor. I don't know if that's how you say it. Anyway, in the Firelands on 10 man. I'm a hunter and this is obviously a solo guide. I'm going to be doing this a little differently. I'm not going to have my face cam, I'm just going to be talking so I can concentrate because it is a hard fight. Hey guys, I'm sorry I couldn't record whilst doing the fight / the raid. I needed to concentrate a little bit. Anyway, as you can see, this one is located in Mount Hyjal and it is in this raid called the Firelands, and this is on 10 man. Actually, once I answered here, you can probably tell that I was glitched. Well, I wasn't glitched, but the Molten Lord was, and so I tried to defeat him, but it just wouldn't let me, so I ended up just walking around him. Usually the ads in here are quite easy to solo, so you can solo them if you want to, or you can just walk around them. So you just want to keep on the right hand side of the Firelands and head on through over the bridge to Alysrazor. As you can see, I camouflaged past the ads in the beginning. So just before I get to the ads, just before Alysrazor, I want to mention that I have actually respec'd to Beast Mastery for this fight. I needed to because of the heals from my Spirit Beast and through Exhilaration, which is one of my talents, and because it did more damage whilst I was in the air for the actual fight. Anyway, I'll get into that a little later. So just before Alysrazor are these ads, and they're quite difficult to do. There's 2 harbingers of flame, 2 of the birds, and 2 egg piles, which you need to do. You just burn down these guys like so, and then you head on over to the egg piles to get them. I used my Spirit Beast heals to keep me alive while the smouldering hatchlings attacked me, if I didn't get to misdirect into my pet before. And here you just burn down the egg piles, and after you get one on the left or the right, whichever first, you head on to the other one and do the same. After you've done the egg piles, you head on over to the blazing monstrosities which are behind you, and these are 2 giant birds. As you can see, they're blowing fire from their mouth the whole time. You need to avoid this. You can see it clearly on the ground though. It will hit you for a good 40k each hit, so you need to avoid that at all costs. Anyway, then you just burn them down as well. After they are complete, this is where you just get ready for the Alysrazor fight. Make sure you repair your gear before the fight. I also used a flask of spring blossoms, which is an agility pot, and I also used the sea mist rice noodles, which give you a 300 agility buff, which is this pot, and this food buff is probably the best. So as I stated before, I am now Beast Mastery for this fight, including those ads before. I can't emphasize that enough, how much I needed those heals during the fight. So for this fight, you spend a lot of your time in the air, and thus you can't use Stampede, and neither can you use Dire Beast or your pet. So it's very limited on what spells you use for your attacks whilst in the air as a hunter. So to start off the fight, you attack Major Domo, or however you say that. You'll see I just sent my pet in, and he starts off the fight. Just a quick mention that the pet I'm using is Gondria, which is one of the spirit beasts from Northrend. So after you've sent your pet in or started the fight, you will get trapped by these vines, which is meant to happen. He talks a little while and then Alysrazor shows up. So this is where it gets a little tricky. So Alysrazor shows up and you have a few seconds to react. So here I decided to use Stampede and every other ground ability I could use to get as much damage on Alysrazor before she went into the sky. I also used the heals on myself, so just before going up, after using all your ground abilities, you need to collect 3 of the feathers that Alysrazor drops. This will send you flying into the sky, and then you follow Alysrazor. After you need to stay behind her, and she will drop some fire rings and you have to fly through them. This actually gives you a haste buff and keeps you from falling to the ground. So whilst in the sky you can't really use any ground abilities, so I use mainly Serpent Sting, Arcane Shot, Cobra Shot and Glaive Toss. You use Serpent Sting once, even though I used it a couple of times. You could probably tell I got a little flustered, sorry, and I kept pressing anything. Anyway, you press Serpent Sting, then Glaive Toss. While that's on cooldown, you use Arcane Shot and Cobra Shot. However, as the fight goes on, your buffs increase and your focus generally means you wouldn't need to use Cobra Shot just to reset Serpent Sting, due to the fact that your focus regenerates so quickly. Also, you can use the Murder of Crows while you're flying around. So the hardest part of the fight is when she yells, "These guys are mine." So when she screams out, "These guys are mine," she begins to cast the harsh winds from a fiery vortex. And it is the hardest part of the fight, as I already said. So only the bird ads on the ground will attack you. As you can see, I got pummeled by these vortexes. However, I summoned my pet as soon as I hit the ground. I used that heal first. Then I used a deterrent on myself. Then I used a health pot, and then I used deterrent with exhilaration. Whilst I was running around on the floor, you can see I generally tried to go through the fiery hoops to keep up a buff. After the fiery vortexes had disappeared, I needed to burn down Alysrazor. So I found her on the ground and I used everything I had. I used every cooldown. As you can see, I used Stampede first because it puts out a great amount of damage. Then I use my Dire Beast, and then you just burn her with Arcane Shot, and then 2 kill shots. So there we go. As you can see, after burning her on the ground, she dies pretty easily. Alright guys, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Asleep. Oh, you know. I'm so sorry.